Hi everyone, it's Sean here. I want everybody to know this is your last week to put in a pledge to get your copy of John Haynes at Death's Door. The Kickstarter will be ending on Saturday, August 6th. So if you want to pick up a copy of John Haynes at Death's Door in paper or digital format, click the link in the description box and put in your pledge for Kickstarter right now, because this is the last week you will have a chance to pick up your copy of John Haynes at Death's Door. And we have already broken past the second stretch goal, so everybody who has put in a pledge for a paper copy will be getting a John Haynes sticker, and this is your last opportunity to pick up your copy of John Haynes at Death's Door and all of the awesome stretch goal rewards. I want to thank everybody who has put in a pledge for John Haynes at Death's Door, and I'm hoping you'll be there with all of us once we reach the finish line on this Kickstarter for this first John Haynes comic. In a previous video, I talked about how your black male heroes in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, such as Falcon, War Machine, and Black Panther, did not have a love interest like their white male counterparts, such as Steve Rogers, Captain America, Tony Stark, Iron Man, and Thor. Now, when it comes down to your comics, science fiction, and fantasy, I see a real serious problem as related to the presentation and representation of black women. When they go out here and create black women to be supporting characters in the heroes' stories, we rarely ever get to see an image of black women that is soft, beautiful, and feminine, and we rarely ever get to see a heroine or a woman who is a love interest presented as someone who is attractive and desirable to black men. Now, this is something that I believe is done by design because in the beginning, your comics were, and fantasy and science fiction, were filled with white supremacy. And in white supremacy, they always look to elevate the white female's image above the image of black women. And because they look to elevate the image of the white woman above the image of black women, this makes it where they do things to try to undermine and even sabotage the image of the black woman. And that's a big problem as I see it, because we don't get to see black women elevated to the same level as white women, and we don't get to see the beauty of black women in the pages of comic books, science fiction, or fantasy, unless these women are either presented as fetishes for white men and sexual fantasies of white men. Rarely do we get to see an image of a black woman at the side of a black man who is soft and feminine, and we rarely get to see a black woman expressing her affection and femininity towards the direction of a black man in comics. And those are core foundations of black love. When you see a black woman expressing affection and looking for the attention of a black man, but rarely do we get to see it in mainstream media, and even some black-owned media goes out of its way to promote the whole fetishization and relation of related to black women and white men, and they also go out here and elevate the image of the white woman. Now, when I look at most modern media, there again is a serious problem as related to presenting the image of the black woman, because instead of us seeing black women elevated and their beauty celebrated in black comics, science fiction, and fantasy, and even mainstream comics, fiction, and fantasy, we see the black female image being minimized and degraded in many forms of media. And this is done passive aggressively, and passively they will put an image of a black woman in media for representation, but aggressively that image will be designed to degrade the black female image, so we won't see an elevated image of a black woman being beautiful, a black woman being soft, a black woman being feminine, a black woman being attracted to a black man, and a black woman wanting a relationship with a black man. So what they do, again, is passively, yes, they include the black woman, but they'll do things like make it, again, where the black woman is only beautiful in the presence of a white man or a group of white men, like Storm in the X-Men. And that is done by design because they want to say that only black women who are beautiful are the ones who meet our standard. And they also do this because they want to fetishize the black woman and make her part of their fantasies, and they only want to include black women who fit into their fantasies. Now, they also do this passive aggressively to degrade the black female image, because if you've got the black woman as a fetish, then the black woman doesn't see a value to relationships with black men. And another way that they again degrade the black female image is they go out here and say that the black woman can only be soft in the presence of white men, but she cannot be soft and feminine in the presence of black men. And again, it's really sad when you say that you can be soft and feminine for a white man, but you can't be soft and feminine for a black man, because one of the foundations of black love is wanting to be beautiful for black men. And in many forms of media, we don't get to see black women being soft and feminine for their man in media. And this is something that can have an impact on black girls' minds, them not seeing a black woman wanting to be beautiful for a black man. Now, this is further reinforced in media when they go out here and masculinize the black female image, like they're doing in Black Panther Wakanda Forever, and what they're doing in movies like The Woman King, where they present the woman as masculine. And this is something white supremacy has done for centuries as related to the black female image, trying to masculinize the black woman's image so that she will appear less beautiful than the white woman. And this is done because they want to go out here and, again, degrade the white female image, not the white female, but the black female image in comparison to the black female image. So what they want to do is degrade the black female image so that it would appear to be less than. And if you don't have awareness, you will get conditioned to believe this. And a lot of girls get conditioned to believe this about themselves. And they start believing, oh, the white woman is better and more beautiful than me. But the truth is, you are beautiful and you are attractive and desirable, but they don't want to promote that idea because they want black men to be out here pining for the white woman, and they want to promote the white woman is beautiful fetish, because that's how white women control many of these white males. And this is something we see all throughout your comics, science fiction, and fantasy. And the other thing that they try to do to degrade the black female image and prevent us from seeing soft feminine women, which is what I'm seeing in comics these days, is that they change the sexual orientation of the black female character. And it's interesting that they always make the black female character either a lesbian or some other sexual orientation, but they never do this to the white female characters. The white female characters, they can be in the story and be heterosexual. The Hispanic character can be heterosexual. The Asian character and the Muslim character, they can be heterosexual, but the black female character is always made out to be an alphabet character. And again, this is passive aggressive degradation of the black woman, because passively you're including her and you're using her to represent diversity, but aggressively you are degrading the black female image, because I find it interesting that every black female character in modern media is always an alphabet character, and that really, it shows me how the diversity is in some ways partially anti-black racism. Because why is it that the Hispanic, Asian, and Arab characters can't be other sexual orientations? Why is it always the black character? That's a critical question I have been asking for years about black female representation. And when it comes down to the black female image, I always ask the question, why is the black female either one of these alphabet sexual orientations? And I also ask the question, why is the black character, female character, always obese or unattractive in comparison to the white female characters? Why is it that the black female character is overweight? Why is the black female character given unattractive character traits? And why is it that the black female character is presented as less attractive than her white female counterparts? Why is it that we cannot elevate the standard of a black female character to the standard of the white female characters? I would like to believe that there is a place for attractive, desirable black women in media, and I would like to believe that there is a place for images and stories that feature black women. But the mainstream media loves to present you with this so-called image of the strong black woman who is presented as masculine, with masculine traits, and is presented to be less attractive than white women and other minority women, but they won't show you a soft, feminine black woman. And that's really unfair as I see it, as related to the place of comics, science fiction, and fantasy. Because in the world of comics, science fiction, and fantasy, it's supposed to be an escape from the real world. And I would like to think there would be a place for attractive, desirable black women in a black man's fantasy. I would like to think that a black man would like to imagine a woman that looks like him in stories, and he would like to see beautiful black women in stories that are soft and feminine and attractive. But in some cases I'm seeing, as related to some black comic creators, they always put stories with non-black women or white women, and that's quite troubling to me because it shows me how deep the self-hatred is in some black folks' minds. Because whenever I write fantasy and science fiction, I always imagine beautiful black women at the side of characters like John Haynes, and I also imagine characters like Isis and Eastine being on their own, being soft and feminine, and feeling comfortable about their beauty as black women, and feeling comfortable about expressing their femininity as black women. That's something that I feel is missing from a lot of comics, science fiction, and fantasy. We're not really getting to see a balanced picture of the elevation of the black female image. We're not really getting to see, the soft, feminine black women like people saw back in the 70s during the blaxploitation era, where we saw a lot of these soft, beautiful black women who were very feminine, wanted to be at the side of black men, wanting to have relationships with black men, saw black men as desirable partners. We're not really getting to see those types of images as related to black women, and we're not getting to see stories about those kinds of black women. Moreover, we're not getting to see an image as related to a balance in the strength of black women. Oftentimes we get black women presented with this masculine image and trying to have masculine power, but we don't get to see a celebration of black femininity and feminine power. We don't get to see black women expressing their strength of character and expressing themselves and showing that they can be strong like a woman and not strong like a man, because there's a big difference between feminine strength and masculine strength. Now, your masculine strength is physical, but your feminine strength has to do with the emotional and the mental, and it's rare that we get to see that feminine strength, and that's something I try to express in books like Isis, the Beauty Myth, or My Sister, My Frenemy, or Wrath of the Cyber Goddess, or the Escape from Transylvania books. I want to show the strength as a black woman has, and we rarely get to see that kind of strength in most comics, science fiction, and fantasy, and we need to see more of that strength because that kind of strength is something that men find to be attractive and men find to be desirable. And when they escape into fantasy, they're looking to see a woman who they would aspire to be like their girlfriend. But what's troubling to me is that you have many black men out here who don't imagine a world where they can see the strength of femininity, the beauty of black femininity, the beauty of black beauty, and the love that black women have for black men. No, we don't see this because in most media, many have bought into the concepts of white supremacy that have taught us that black women are masculine, aggressive, and angry. And again, these concepts come from the white supremacist in his stereotypes like the Mammy and the Jezebel. And this is not coming from us. And we have to think about what comes from us is that we who have lived around black women know that there is a softer side, there is a more feminine side, and that side is not anything weak. This is something that the feminist has taught the black woman, that being soft and feminine is weak, but there's a great strength in femininity, and there's a great strength in being feminine for a black woman, and we need to see more of that in media as I see it, because if we're going to go out here and create stories with a black female love interest, we need to see the softer side of black women in media, and we need to see a softer side of black women, because in order to get to the point where we can see a black woman as a love interest, we need to see the softer and more feminine side of black women. We need to see that a black woman can be a part of the hero story, whether it be the damsel in distress. And I know there's a lot of sisters out here who want to see a beautiful black woman at the side of a black hero, and they want to see that beautiful black woman going out here and being soft and feminine. They want to see that black woman at the side of that black man, and they want to see that black man showing love to that sister. And this is something I show in books like The Temptation of John Haynes and John Haynes, The Man with Nothing to Lose, that black man and black woman working together, and that black woman knowing that that man can go out here and as a hero go out here and protect her, and that black man can go out here and stand up for her. That's something I know many black would attract black women to fantasy and science fiction and comics, and they want to see that softer black woman, and we need to see more media with softer images of black women, and I believe those softer pictures would help the image of black women, because we really need them. Because if we're gonna, because as I see it, there is a place for a black female love interest, and we really need to see more stories with black women being the love interest, being softer and feminine, and presenting that image of softness and femininity that all men and women both find attractive. Because not only do men go out here and buy fantasies and want to see softer black women, women want to see that soft woman so that they can have somebody who they can relate to and identify with, like the way some women relate to characters like Lois Lane and other women, because they want to be the damsel in distress. They want to be saved by the handsome brother. And the only way we get those kind of stories is if we create them. And that's something I do here at SJS Direct. I want to be able to give your ladies, the soft feminine women, to be role models like Isis and Eastine and Matilda Crowley and Lilith Graves. I want to give you the soft feminine women so that you can see that yes, you can be soft, beautiful, and strong, and that there is more to this than being a masculine character like one in The Woman King or Wakanda Forever. Women want to be women. Women want to be soft and feminine. They want to be partners to black men, and they want to share black love with black men. And if the media, mainstream media, won't give you these kind of stories, then I'll give you those kind of stories. And I've been giving you these kind of stories with books like The Temptation of John Haynes, the Isis series, the Eastine series, books like Eternal Night, because I understand that sisters need to see soft feminine women, and soft feminine women, there's something that sisters want to see in comics and fantasy, because it gives them somebody to relate to, and it gives them somebody that they can have a connection with and care about. So when I look at your comics, science fiction, and fantasy, and I see these neutered black males. The other side of it is the lack of development of black females, because that's a big problem where we got masculine women or asexual women, and we're not getting attractive black women who want to love black men. I mean, as I see it, the white guys, if they can have a love interest, why can't the brothers have a sister who is interested in being a love interest for them? And why can't sisters have a character that represents them and everything about their lives and represents everything that they want in life? That was one of the things that led to me doing the E-Steam series, was trying to give you a black woman who was living a life, had a boyfriend, had a nice job, but was still taking on supernatural forces. I wanted to give you a soft, feminine black woman who had, again, superpowers, but was also somebody who had a life like a sister was having out here. So as I see it, we really do need more stories featuring soft, feminine black women, and we need to see more stories where the black woman has a full life as a love interest, and also as a woman who is out here living her life. Now, if you want to pick up my stories featuring heroines, you can find the ISIS series, the E-Steam series, the books of the Spinsterella trilogy, and the Thetas and Eternal Night on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format, and you can also find them on Smashwords, the iBook Store, and Google Play. And if you want to see me make more videos like this, you can donate to my Patreon, my PayPal, or my Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and e-readers, The Temptation of John Haynes. Give in to temptation and pick up this action-packed African-American paranormal romance. Get The Temptation of John Haynes in paperback and e-readers today.